That's right. Greetings, fellow Armchair Imagineers. Tiki here.
And Joker's wild.
And tonight, we're going to do some Ridestormin. That's right. As voted on by you guys, we are doing the 80s slasher land. This was suggested by big fan of the podcast, Mickey Mouse 10. Shout out.
Yes.
So Jokers, this was a surprisingly easy land to come up with, actually.
Yeah, we got.
I feel like it all just kind of fell into place.
It really did. I mean, last night I was just like shotgunning ideas at you.
And honestly, I was just like, yeah, that works. That works.
Yeah.
That works. So our land is, first of all, I kind of thought of an interesting idea for where we would set this. You ready for this?
Sure.
Okay, it's going to be controversial. I don't think you're going to like it.
Okay.
This is going to essentially be at the last minute, the cowards at Universal Studios are like, oh shit, we can't do a Monsters Land. The 80s slasher villains are much more recognizable. So it essentially be going into the same plot as the Universal Monsters Land, just using the a different brand of iconic monsters.
Yeah, that's a super weird idea, but I'm into it.
Well, I just think there's a way to frame it like within.
Oh no! Totally,
you know what I mean?
It's a good idea. I just think it's like if you think about it from like a realistic perspective, it's really.
Oh, from a realistic perspective, it's fucking I would never happen, of course, but all right. And also the other thing that we kind of try to adhere to here, and I don't really think we've actually talked all that much about this element, like as far as like scare actors and streetmosphere goes, but we essentially want to make this Halloween Horror Nights the land.
Yeah, you mentioned that in passing. But
and I think during the day that would be kind of hard to pull off outside of the individual attractions. But honestly, at night, I think we could go pretty crazy with just basically turning the whole land into a scare zone.
No, I agree. I think like during the day it could be more not like family oriented, but for lack of a better term. And then at night it turns into proper Halloween Horror Nights.
All right, that guy's in the comments. He says, "I love slasher films, even some of the bad ones."
Yeah.
Well, we hope that this is going to fulfill your bloodlust. That guy. And I don't know why I have Hellraiser / Cabin in the Woods up there on the banner. You should have said something, Jokers.
Well, I didn't even pay attention to it. I was looking at our comments from our wonderful viewers.
Okay, so let's get to Freddy versus Jason.
Yeah.
I think this was pretty obviously like from the get-go going to be like the anchor e-ticket, right? Was there any
makes sense.
Like for you, was there any other thing that popped into your mind as an anchor?
Nothing that could work quite as well. I mean, there's other stuff we could have done, I guess. Like if we want to get really weird with it, we could have done something like The Thing or Halloween, but that would be difficult as a ride.
I do. I've kind of got like a grudge against Halloween currently.
Really?
Just in the sense of like Halloween Kills or whatever the hell that the evil dies tonight thing. Bad movie. I was underwhelmed by the remake, even though or the reboot, whatever, even though everyone loved it.
Yeah.
And now it's just going to be another Halloween Horror Nights maze, and I don't know. I don't like that series. I don't like that series at all. Not even the first one, but that's
really
different. I don't like the first one. I think the first one's like okay, but anyways.
Okay. But I think Freddy versus Jason makes the most sense. They're the two most iconic. They've already been together. So, yeah. And it's kind of the biggest concept, you know.
So I think our concept for the ride system is pretty ambitious, actually. So we're basically going to be taking a trackless dark ride and adding a dueling element to it. So essentially, on one side, you'd be loading up into the dreamscape of Freddy, and then on the other side would be Camp Crystal Lake. The ride vehicles would start on either side of the attraction. There'd essentially be two giant rooms, a Camp Crystal Lake room and then a Dreamscape room. And while you are in the other's territory, you are being hunted. And then while you are in your own territory, you are the hunter.
Mm.
And obviously, I think we would have animatronics of Freddy and Jason. I'm a big fan of that one random shadow jump scare from the movie. So I'd have that in there.
God, it's been a really long time.
But yeah, I think that I think a trackless dark ride that really utilized kind of like a cat and mouse element, kind of like essentially it'd be two different rides. Like you would have to ride both to get the full experience. And but I think a lot of creativity could be done with the Dreamscape, obviously. I don't know. Any ideas as far as you go in terms of fleshing this out?
Did I have anything? I didn't have too much for this. The most I had was more about the setup. Where
what do you have my setup then?
Well, my setup was a little different from what you have, from what we've been talking about. But I had it framed as like us being like the teenagers, I guess, and we're like roped into it by like acolytes of Freddy and Jason. So you're kind of like being used as bait and put into the middle of the violence and the action, rather than being the characters themselves.
Okay.
Yeah, so a little bit different from what you've been talking about, but I think what you have is great too. In terms of the actual scenes, I'm it's been a while since
I'm kind of drawing a blank, honestly. I think with the Camp Crystal Lake stuff, you'd probably have to get a little bit more atmospheric, and then with the Dreamscape, you'd get a little bit more surreal.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I think you could do stuff with like one of the sequels had like a really big Freddy, like a really like a gigantic Freddy.
You could do all kinds of things with Freddy, like shape-shifting and stuff like that. Yeah.
It should definitely go to the boiler room at some point. Should go to that's the other thing I was thinking. Load for Freddy for Freddy's part would be like the boiler room that he died in, or
that makes sense. That totally makes sense. Yeah.
Whatever it is. Yeah. And then we were talking about having different endings depending, just kind of randomized, I guess, because it's a trackless ride. You can't really do much.
Yeah, right. There's no way to actually like control it.
Yeah, exactly. Unless,
but yeah, I think essentially the different endings would be pretty straightforward. It would be either Jason with holding Freddy's head or Freddy holding Jason's head.
Yep.
All right. Yeah, I think that's about it. I'd love to hear anyone's ideas in the comments if you got any for Freddy versus Jason. I think it's a pretty robust idea that you can do a lot with, and honestly, if we really wanted to, we could probably do a whole episode just really fleshing it out scene by scene.
Oh, probably, absolutely. Yeah.
All right, so but I do think the idea of the two different big rooms, like kind of like the arena style of doing an attraction, would work really well here.
No,
like as opposed to a bunch of individual rooms.
Yeah, I mean, we could even use like technology from Runaway Railway.
Yeah,
like
sure,
black box, where it's constantly shifting and changing.
All right, let's get into the flat rides of the land with Child's Play and Jason versus Alien.
Yeah.
All right, do you have a name for the Child's Play flat ride?
No, I didn't. I did not name it. I'm gonna call it Chucky's Bitchin' Flat Ride.
Okay.
No, don't do that.
No, I'm doing it. Honestly, it sounds in character.
I know. It's still awful.
Hey guys, come to my bitchin' flat ride. Right. So, what do you have in mind for Chucky's bitchin' flat ride?
So I had let me pull it up. I was trying to figure out a ride system. I thought about doing a scrambler, and then you said you wanted to do a scrambler.
I want to do a scrambler. Yes.
So I shifted it a little bit to an octopus.
Okay.
Because I wanted it to be spinning anyway, and I wanted it to be fast. So that's kind of what I'm working with.
What about teacups?
That teacups could work too. Yeah.
Because honestly, the reason I think teacups would work is that unlike a scrambler, there's a little bit of interaction there.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Yeah, that could work too. Um, but what I was thinking was to have it set in the Good Guy Dolls factory. Um, and you walk in, and Tiki, listen close to this. It's full of doll parts, and
Ooh.
there's a lot of doll parts strewn about. Um,
Are you
and,
mocking me?
no.
Throughout this whole brainstorming process, I was very adamant. Like, I really like the Chucky's Valley of the Dolls bit that I put in my Monster Madness ride. Can we use that? Can we flesh it out?
No, it works really well for like a good guy doll factory.
And I also think it works really well just as a setting for a flat ride, kind of
Oh,
like
absolutely.
a visual thing to surround the flat ride.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. Um, and then the actual ride would be teacups or octopus, whichever. I think teacups works really well too. Um,
I think teacups would be better as far as differentiating it from the scrambler.
yeah, no, I definitely agree. That's a good point. And then I want Chucky in the middle. I don't know if I want like a big Chucky or like Chucky like in a console or something. But the whole setup of the ride was
Ooh,
gonna be that.
Chucky is the ride operator.
Yeah, no, that works really well.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I'd really like that.
Yeah. But in any event, I'd like him like in the center, so he's like very visible and very like the center of attention. Um
Okay, I have
and
an
the
idea.
Yeah.
So what if the ride starts out as like a very tame teacup ride, right? Like you're spinning the wheel and it's like Mad Tea Party at Disneyland. Like you can't even really get it going all that much, right?
Yeah.
And then Freddy cranks it up and suddenly the spinning is out of your control and it becomes very intense.
Yeah, yeah, you could do that.
I don't know. I like that idea because it kind of like it plays with your expectations and you're like, wait, really? This is it? And then it's like, oh shit, okay, this is really wow, this is a spinner.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a way to make that happen. Um yeah, yeah, that works. But what I was thinking was the setup would be that Chucky's trying to perform the ritual again to put his soul into a person, like back into a regular body, which doesn't work. Like maybe like something happens at the end to make it not work every time.
Oh,
But there'd be a lot of lighting effects, a lot of wind effects. Chucky would be talking the whole time. It'd be more funny than scary, but like a little intense at the same time, you know.
I would say it's probably one of the more kid-friendly attractions within the land.
I I would say no, just because I want Chucky to swear because it's Chucky.
Ah,
But
that's fair. And
yeah.
I do actually want to call it Chucky's Bitchin' Flat Ride.
Yeah.
Oh man. We should also just kind of bring up like land layout and setting and everything like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So we're gonna set it at Camp Crystal Lake just because I feel like that's probably the most iconic 80s horror movie set piece. It's pretty much ubiquitous with the slasher movie genre.
Hmm.
So with that in mind, I don't really think we talked about this, but what do you think the facade of Freddy versus Jason could be?
Ooh, that's a good point. I don't know.
I know.
Doesn't fuck. In the movie or in one of the movies, isn't Jason's mother's grave in like a tree trunk?
Ooh, that would be cool.
Yeah.
You know what? I don't even care if that is in one of the movies or not. I don't know. That's just a cool image that would fit into the Camp Crystal Lake setting.
Yeah. So like make it bigger and that could be one of the entrances. I mean, I'd still rather the entrances be together. But
Oh, I agree on the entrances being together. You walk in through the tree trunk and then you can choose either Freddy or Jason.
yeah, like maybe you walk in through the tree trunk, get to Jason's mother's grave, and then they separate.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
All right. Z&K channel. Happy to have you here. He says, maybe when the ride starts, Chucky is his good guy form, and as soon as the ride goes out of control, that's when he becomes the Chucky we all love. I like that. I like that.
Yeah, I think I'd still rather Chucky be Chucky the whole way through. And kind of be like you're stuck here. um,
And then as soon as the ride slow stops, he suddenly becomes adult. I like both approaches. I do see what you're saying, though, as far as like with it being a flat ride, you want as much like classic Chucky as you can.
And like he's very upfront about what he's doing. So like
right.
You're very aware of what he's doing.
All right. So yeah, I guess we would. Do you want to have like I was kind of thinking instead of a good guy's factory, maybe just like a good guy's storage warehouse.
I mean, it could still be a factory, just like in the forest,
in the middle of the woods. All right,
yeah.
I just don't want the factory to be like visually imposing because it's a flat ride, So
I don't think it would be any more imposing than a warehouse would be.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
I mean, we could even have it be abandoned. Like there's a bunch of stuff we can do.
So off in a remote corner of this land, we would have the crashed spaceship Nostromo.
You're right, not imposing.
I know. That's why it's in the corner. That's why it's in the corner.
I know.
Okay, so Alien versus Jason X, bonkers concept, but basically it's my homage to the fact that Halloween Horror Nights likes to kind of get creative with their monster mashups.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is pretty simple. In the queue, you're going through the wreckage of the Monstromo. I'm sorry, is it the Nostromo or the Monstromo?
Nostromo.
Nostromo. I got it right the first time. Yay.
Yeah.
All right. And and you're kind of seeing like distress signals and stuff, kind of like signs that the xenomorph has been here, claw marks, stuff like that. Maybe have a chest burster animatronic within the queue.
Yeah.
And then the ride itself, I'm thinking maybe you would have 2 or 3 different like pods where the same thing would be happening, so you can just have a bigger capacity. But pretty straightforward. It'd be kind of like it'd be a very kind of similar setup to Alien Encounter, just in the fact that the alien would be in the middle of the room and the scrambler would be spinning around the alien. And then midway through, the lights go out, and then Jason X comes in. And I'm honestly not sure, like, with Jason X, like, I probably would have an animatronic, maybe, like, maybe the animatronic's hidden behind, like, a door or something, and the door comes down and reveals him.
Yeah.
But then I'm not sure visually how I actually want to do the fight, because I do know that I don't know, maybe we could have a Jason X animatronic kind of, like, attached to the alien and then come up onto the alien's back once the ride really gets going and he's like hacking at the alien. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Like kind of have like, like an animatronic that's out of sight, like, beneath the floor that essentially rises up onto the back of the other animatronic.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like a lot, but I get what you're going for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I know it sounds like a lot, but I don't know. I think it'd be really cool.
Yeah.
Someone goes up during the ride. Someone goes up and kills all the people there. Sarcasm. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'm actually pretty passionate about this Alien versus Jason X thing because, okay, you know what? I'm gonna get a little sentimental for a minute. I don't think I've ever told you guys this, but Jason X is like a weirdly like very nostalgic movie for me because it's actually the first movie that I saw. It's the first R-rated movie that I saw in the movie theaters with my dad, and I was like 10 years old. And so not only is it the experience of being the first R-rated movie that I saw in theaters, but it's also pretty much the first experience that my dad and I had together of like recognizing that what we were watching was terrible and laughing at it.
Yeah.
And that is honestly like me and him, like bad movies are kind of like one of our things. So it kind of goes back to Jason X. Like I have a big old soft spot for Jason X, man. I really do.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I love how bonkers of a concept it is.
Yeah, no, it's a very weird concept, but it's really cool.
Yeah, and putting Jason X up against a xenomorph would be even more weird.
Yeah, you're right.
All right. So, you know what? We've been on the ride signature e-ticket. We've gone on a couple flat rides. Let's get a meal, shall we?
Yes, I'm
Okay.
starving.
So let's go to the area's signature dining experience, Attack of the B movies.
Yeah.
Set the stage here.
Yeah, this is our way to put a lot of bad movies into this land. Um, many of them have many of them deal with eating people in
Some of
various
them are
ways.
actually food themselves.
Yes, you're right. So we thought it would be
Attack of
fun
the
to.
Killer Fry Green Tomatoes, everyone. It
Yep.
needs to happen. I'm way
Yes.
too proud of that pun.
Yeah. Um, yeah. So we're gonna be
That
putting
guy
in like
says Walt Disney. It all started with a mouse. Tiki. It all started with Jason X.
yeah.
Well, that guy,
Uh,
if you want another more sentimental kind of like Walt-esque, Walt X, Walt X.
yeah, Walt X. Yeah.
Oh God. Oh my God. That's something I just willed into existence.
Yeah.
Great. Walt X, just they're all trapped on a spaceship, and Walt's just like he's obviously like the frozen head attached to like a cyborg body.
The 9th, July the 17th movie. Am I right?
Oh dear. All right. Okay. Anyways, so that guy, just to I'm gonna get more into this when we talk about Lilo and Stitch, but I actually saw Lilo and Stitch a couple days before the first time I went to Disneyland and did the Tiki Room. And obviously, I'm not called Tiki for just the Tiki Room is like literally kind of like a part of my identity to a certain extent. And Lilo and Stitch is a factor there because obviously it's got the Hawaii setting. So Lilo and Stitch runs in my DNA in a really big way, in a Walt-esque kind of like it all started with a mouse sort of way. All right. Anyways.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah. Go on. So what are you thinking as far as like the setting here?
That's what I was trying to figure out because I don't want to do like
a mess hall or something.
yeah, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do like movie sets.
Yeah,
because that's been done to death.
Drive-in movie theater. I mean, I know it's been done to death, but
well, no, because sci-fi dining.
Well, yeah, I know.
Yeah, maybe we could. I mean, maybe like a diner or something. I'm
yes,
not
Stitch
sure.
did take over the Tiki Room.
It did,
and I believe it's oh, I want to say it's Hong Kong. I want to say
Tokyo.
it's Hong Kong.
It's Tokyo.
Oh, it's Tokyo. Okay.
Yeah. They have the Tiki Room. Aloha, ikomo mai.
I honest to God think that Stitch would he does fit into the Tiki Room. I'll say this much: God bless Gilbert Gottfried, rest in peace, and all that. But Stitch
Chris
fits
Sanders,
Stitch fits into the Tiki Room way more than Iago and Zazu do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Way more.
Yeah. And I'll let you know how it is coming this summer. Stay tuned.
Ooh.
And they play.
That's going to be the first thing you do, just for me.
Yeah, I'm gonna go straight to the Tiki Room. Like fuck the other rides. I'm gonna ride the Tiki Room. Go back to the hotel. They sing the theme song from the TV show. Weirdly.
Yeah.
Also, another weird thing. I was at a store yesterday and they were playing the fucking song from Sinbad. It was so weird. I was like in a store in the middle of nowhere, Japan.
Oh my God!
They were playing the Alan Menken song from Sinbad. Anyway,
funny.
Back on topic. Slasher movies like Sinbad, like Lilo and Stitch. I don't really know what to make this restaurant look like. I guess we can do a drive-in theater. We can do a diner.
What about like a picnic grove?
Yeah, we can do a picnic grove. We
like
can
an
do
outdoor picnic grove using like the outdoor-indoor sort of motif.
Yeah, we could do that. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. That works for me.
All right.
But food. What kind of food do you have, Tiki?
Attack of the Killer Fried Green Tomatoes.
Wow. And
I
I
don't know.
came up
That's
with
pretty much where my ideas for food begin and end, honestly.
yeah, it's kind of yeah. I had trouble figuring stuff out too. I
I mean,
literally
honestly,
just
you could do a whole like section of the menu devoted to Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
yeah, you could.
Like,
I
honest to God,
literally
like anything tomato based can just slap on an Attack of the Killer Tomatoes branding.
yeah. I literally only suggested this idea because I wanted to do a Troll 2 smoothie.
Oh my God.
So that will be on the menu. I think I also it's not a B movie, but I also suggested like Texas Chainsaw Massacre barbecue.
I like
Um,
that as just like, if you're not like, first of all, I know, I just think it's a nice, like, easy,
yeah, yeah.
I'm not explaining this well.
No, I could use like an easy
Comfort food. Comfort
yeah, like
food is the word I'm
neutral.
looking
A lot of
for.
people like it. Yeah,
Yeah.
popular food. Yeah,
Hannibal Lecter's baked goods.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah. That
God.
works. There's a lot
Hannibal
you can
Lecter's
do.
fava beans.
Yeah, it's just fava beans.
Yeah, it's literally just fava
Just
beans.
a bowl of fava beans and Chianti. Um, yeah, so there's a bunch of weird stuff you could do. Honestly, you could maybe do like a Jello that looks like the blood vials from the Thing, or like the blood
Uh,
petri dishes from the Thing. Um, yeah, there's some cool stuff you could do with this. But I just want Troll 2 smoothies, and this is my vessel to put that into the world. And here we are. We did it. It's out. People know about it. I've willed it into existence. Please make it happen.
all right. I think
Thank
that's
you.
about all we can cover with this.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, I'm gonna let you take the reins on both of these things because Cabin in the Woods I watched once. Hellraiser I really don't know anything about besides Pinhead.
You should really watch it. It's a really cool movie. I really like Hellraiser. I don't really have a ton to say for either. I focused more on some other stuff that we'll get to later and have already talked about. But Hellraiser, we were talking about making it like a proper maze, like a walkthrough, which
Mhm.
I think makes the most sense for the Hellraiser characters because the whole point of them is that once they're summoned, they'll stalk you until they take you back to hell. Um, so it could be a fun like stalkery maze where there's not many monsters, but there's a lot of appearances from the Cenobites.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. In terms of setting, it could probably just follow the plot of the first two movies. So taking so a lot of it would be in the house from the first movie, and then you could do some stuff in the hospital. And then at the end of the second movie, they actually go to hell, and there's some really cool imagery in that. I think it's the end of the second movie. But I'd really like the what was it? The uncle's like torture room where he opens up the lament configuration, and they like chain him up and like stretch like his whole body out, and that could be
Oh
really cool.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's really fucked up. But you should really watch it. It's a really great movie. With some really interesting themes. It deals a lot with like masochism and stuff like
Uh-huh.
that. It's really interesting. But yeah, that's kind of what I would like to do with that. Just like a maze where it focuses more on some scenes from the movies, but more like the you being stalked by the Cenobites and some of the locations from the movies, the very iconic locations from the movies. And Cabin in the Woods, I again didn't have too much for, but I would like it to be sort of like Alien Encounter, where you go into the cabin
I'm
and
honestly thinking horror mystery lodge.
yeah, kind of, yeah. Yeah, like you would go into the cabin and it would be
Because
like a
mystery
government
lodge is literally going into a cabin.
yeah. Yeah, and it'd be like a government experiment, but like you don't really know that it's a government experiment until the end. And
What
while
if
you're in
what if the whole thing, like, this is probably going to be different from what you're pitching, but
yeah.
what if the whole thing was like you're observing the experiment, so like you're seeing the people in the cabin who don't know they're in an experiment.
I mean, I'd rather you be in the cabin because I'd rather put the guest into the role of like the victims.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of what I was talking about with Freddy versus Jason too. Like I'd rather you be the victim than just be an observer because I think that's more thrilling.
Sure,
Um
sure.
but Yeah, like the whole point of Cabin in the Woods is that the monster would constantly change, so it'd be very rewritable. So every time you ride, you don't know what monster is going to be attacking the
I
cabin.
hate to say it, but we'd probably just have to use screens.
Oh, absolutely, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But I mean, you can still sell it well with like in-theater effects and stuff like
Uh-huh,
that.
uh-huh.
Especially if you, because I was thinking like the theater could just be like 1-to-1 a cabin with like proper theater seating inside and maybe like Alien Encounter style restraints.
Sure,
But
sure.
other than that, it would just be like the cabin. So you could definitely sell it pretty easily. So that's what I was thinking of.
All
Yeah.
right. So yeah, that went by pretty quickly.
Yeah, I didn't have too much to say.
Okay, this is honestly our last category. We're going to kind of go for some supplemental attractions here.
Yeah.
So Killer Clowns, literally the only thing I have as far as ideas go is I think it would work really well is one of those like like Oscar's boxcar derby style like family wooden coasters.
Okay.
And I just want a section of airtime hills that are complemented by jack-o'-lantern or not jack-o'-lantern,
Jack in the
Jack
Box.
in the Box,
Yeah.
Jack in the Box clowns like popping out.
Yeah.
Like every
that
time
could
you go up an airtime hill, a Jack in the Box clown pops out at you.
work.
Like I just think that would be really fun and visually stimulating.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
not
that could work
entirely
really well.
sold on the Oscar's wacky taxi thing,
Yeah.
but what ride system did you have in mind?
I was looking at like a roller skater, like a family steel coaster.
Okay.
Yeah, so similar. So like just steel.
Uh-huh.
I was thinking of doing like a lot of show scenes or like a fair, not like stopping show scenes, but like a lot of stuff happening.
Kind of like how the Legoland theme coasters do it.
Yeah, but less so.
Okay.
Probably closer to like Seven Dwarfs Mine Train.
That's pretty much just one big show scene in the middle.
You're right. What am I?
Mystery Mine?
Yeah. Yeah, kind of like Mystery Mine, I guess, where there's like I don't want to say there's show scenes, but there's like show elements throughout the attraction.
Yeah, because Mystery Mine
Yeah.
is kind of like that, where it's like there are technically show scenes, but really it's more so like basically with Mystery Mine, like 90% of the theming is essentially just dressing up the lift hills, but it works really well.
Yeah, this is like dressing up the lift hills in the brake run.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
And
that's
like a
pretty
little bit
much
at the
Mystery
end.
Mine, yeah.
Yeah. So what I have is the queue and the load, like queue, facade, everything would be in the circus tent. Which we could kind of like hide in the forest.
Oh yeah, I absolutely think this should be like a Something Wicked This Way Comes style, like circus tent randomly set up in the middle of the forest.
Well, that's how the movie opens, I think, where like some farmer just happens upon a circus tent in the forest.
That's awesome.
And then I have clown animatronics running the loading area. So like they're kind of like beckoning you in to like, trap you. And then in the lift hill, as you're going up the lift hill, you're stalked by shadow puppet monsters.
Ooh, that's cool.
Maybe at the bottom we could have one of the clowns doing like hand gestures to like look like shadow puppets, and then as you're going up, it's the actual shadow puppets. Then I literally just have coaster stuff, and then in the brake run, clowns would pop up with blasters or guns. I think they have like weird like alien blasters. And then one of the clowns would hit a track switch with a giant boxing glove. And then you fall into the cocoon storage, like the cotton candy cocoons that they have. And then the ride would end with Clownzilla, and then you would go and unload.
Of course, it would end naturally.
Yeah. Of course,
Clownzilla has to be like the T-Rex in Jurassic Park.
Yeah, I did the Killer Clowns maze in 2019, and that Clownzilla puppet was amazing.
Oh, I'm sure.
It was like 20 feet tall.
Oh my god.
It was crazy. It was so cool.
All right. And also just another note to make with the Hellraiser thing is this and also the other attraction, like I think Hellraiser is obviously going to be the more ambitious Halloween Horror Night style maze. And I think it's important that we do have one big major tentpole Halloween Horror Night style maze where we go all out with that genre. Yeah. Considering that, like I said, this whole land is kind of like a big tribute to that.
Yeah.
Also, I know you know Jokers, but for anyone who doesn't know, I'm going to be experiencing my first Halloween Horror Nights this year, and I'm so excited.
And we're all very proud.
You should be. You should be.
Yeah.
It's been a long road to Halloween Horror Nights.
I know. I've been trying to get you go for a while.
I know. Yeah. Where does Art the Clown fit into this? Asks that guy.
Second. Oh, I was thinking about that. I almost suggested Terrifier to you. But I think it just makes more sense to maybe have him like as a scare actor, like going around the land at night.
That makes sense. Yeah.
But
all right. Like we said, in case you missed some of it, like at night, like during the day, it would be a pretty, there'd obviously like be some sight gags and Easter eggs strewn throughout the land that hints at the theme. But essentially at night, at least on weekends, but like ideally, literally every night, it would turn into a scare zone.
Yeah.
I would say maybe at night, maybe on weekdays, it'd be like less extensive, but I would say every weekend it'd be like a massive, like all out Halloween Horror Night scare zone.
I think that makes sense.
All right. And honestly, like I'm kind of like midway towards cutting this at this point because there's really not a lot there. It's pretty straightforward, but a Texas Chainsaw Corn Maze. I mean, I don't know. What do you think? Like, is it even worth doing at this point?
It's up to you. It's fine. I've seen it before, but there's nothing wrong with it.
I think I'm going to go ahead and cut it.
No.
Because I don't necessarily think that it's in the style of anything that Halloween Horror Nights does, especially if we did it as an outside maze.
Yeah, and I don't really know how well it would fit in the land.
And I don't know, like, and I think chainsaws are just kind of like an overused gimmick with mazes in general, especially like Fright Fest.
And
like
Texas
Fright Fest
too,
really relies on chainsaws.
Yeah.
Let's see. Z&K says going off this overall land concept, Islands of Adventure should add classic monsters aisle.
They are adding classic monsters to Epic Universe.
Yeah, you do know that, right, Z&K? They are adding a classic monsters land to Epic Universe. That's more or less confirmed.
I think it's like confirmed.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's officially confirmed. Yeah.
So Universal Creative is way ahead of you. Thankfully, really.
I know, right? I'm like, that's obviously the thing that I think most of us are most excited about with Epic.
I'm pretty jazzed. I mean, I remember we did that like 10 years ago.
I know.
Twice, a few times.
And then, you know what? I gotta say.
Oh no, this is in Florida. Epic Universe.
Yeah, it's in Florida, Z&K. It's the third gate.
It's not where Wet and Wild was it?
What?
It's not where Wet and Wild was it?
I don't know. It's right over by the convention center.
Yeah.
Is that where Wet and Wild was?
I don't know. I've never been to Wet and Wild.
Yeah, I don't either. I've never even been to Volcano Bay. That's gonna change this next trip. But
I forgot you're doing that. Volcano Bay's a cool time.
I'm excited about it, actually.
It's really unique. I like it for that. But yes, Epic Universe will be opening in Orlando in like 30 years. Like who knows? But it will be opening.
I heard 2024.
Oh, really? That's soon. That's cool.
Yeah, they're pretty on the ball with it.
Good. I wasn't sure if they had gone vertical yet.
I think they have.
Good.
And you know what? As much as I hate to say it, goddamn Secret of Dumbledore surprised me with how good it was. I'm gonna eat my words here. I'm gonna eat my words. All right.
Yeah.
I honestly wouldn't mind a Fantastic Beasts land.
What are you doing to me? How dare you support J.K. Rowling?
I know. God damn, the world is so cool though.
I know. It hurts me. I'm a big supporter of Death of the Author, but at the same time, like
no, I totally get it. I totally get it.
Like, I will
And
buy the new
honestly,
Harry
with
Potter
regards to
game, but I'm gonna hate
Dumbledore, I'm just gonna
myself.
pretend she had nothing to do with the script and just credit it all to Stephen Kloves.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. I haven't been too much in the know of Universal's updates since they all kind of meld together.
It's fair. Yeah,
Yeah, but
they
Universal
don't
is
really
like, I think
announce
they're
stuff like
really,
Disney
really on the
does.
ball with like just cracking stuff out. Like they have
Yeah.
very much outpaced Disney at this point.
Absolutely.
All right. Yeah, so this trip I've got Velocicoaster. And then what else? What else new? Oh, Born. Born is the other new thing that I have.
Oh, Universal? Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I'm
Which
so
I'm actually
mad.
really excited about.
Good. I'm still mad that Terminator was closed in USJ. I really wanted to ride it. Or see it, rather.
That guy said, wait, Secret of Old Wizard Man isn't bad, and I'm both happy and incredibly Yeah, that guy, I honestly think it's far and away the best of the Fantastic Beast movies.
What
Jude
even
Law,
is
yeah,
the secret of Dumbledore?
it's just fucking credence.
Tell me off air.
It's literally just credence.
Okay. I was gonna say, wasn't the secret revealed like 15 years ago?
Yes, yes.
Like,
His secret was revealed at the end of the last movie, and then this movie
yeah.
expands on it.
There's a
But I
real
don't know,
close
it's got a
up.
lot of good stuff in it, man. Like I really like the relationship between Dumbledore and Aberforth, and then Newt and his brother get like I think Newt is it's a damn good movie. Jacob continues to be a really good character. Like I think for the first time I actually cared about all the characters, and I think that's what made it a really good movie.
That's good
for me. I honestly prefer it over some of the Potter movies. Not all of them,
really?
but some of them.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But again, it's like Jude Law is so fucking good.
Yeah.
Like a lot of it comes down to him and his arc.
I'll watch it when it comes to HBO.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know I'm on the minority on this too, by the way.
Oh, are
you
really?
I know most people just kind of find it meh. So
No,
I realize I'm in a minority here.
It's okay. Well,
okay, guys, so we're gonna go ahead and wrap up.
yeah.
Just one particular note. I am going to go ahead and forego a traditional poll for just this week. The polls will be back next week. Don't worry. I was interested because it was said 1930s, and I really like the setting. That guy, the setting is really good. It is a globe-trotting movie, but you spend way more time in each individual setting than you did in Crimes of Grindelwald.
Okay.
So, like the setting feels a lot more lived in as a result.
Good.
Anyways, so yeah, guys, we're not going to be doing a traditional poll this week. Instead, we are going to be jumping right into the Breaking Bad / Better Call Saul themed land. It was very close to winning. Actually, if you go back to the original non-tiebreaker poll, it did pull ahead.
Oh, did it really?
Yeah.
That's
so, and of course, Dragon and I do have a lot of ideas for it already. Like it's pretty much like half fleshed out as it is. And of course, Better Saul Call. Wow. Better Call Saul is premiering in just a couple days. So, I think the timing is really good on that. So, yeah, by all means, I think we should just forego the poll for this week. Just focus on Saul. And then next week, we will be having you guys vote on the next topic after that.
Yes. And I will not be present next week.
No, you will not.
Because I don't watch Breaking Bad.
You should.
I watched like half of it like a decade ago.
All right. Honestly, I think Better Call Saul's an even better show.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Easily. It's refined. It's like they basically took the lessons that they learned from 6 seasons of Breaking Bad, and they're like, all right, let's continue to refine the quality.
Good. Also, I just want everyone to know that it's no longer pulled ahead, so it's okay, Tiki.
Did you vote?
Yeah, I voted for 80 slashers, so now it's now.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Does do my OCD. I actually genuinely appreciate that.
I'm here to support. I'm here to uplift. So.
All right. And on that note, have a good night, everybody. Thanks to Z and K and that guy for commenting. You guys are both great. Have a good one. Hope this was a good episode. See y'all later.
Goodbye.
Let's face it, nerd. Your dream is my nightmare.